everyone, welcome to Ageless with Adrianne. I'm Adrianne Caparuso. Today I want to talk to you about some functional living tips. I have previous videos that you can check out for functional movements and how to strengthen the muscles for the functional movements. Today I want to talk to you about what some of those functional movements are, the importance of them. Functional movement is being able to move, doing the day-to-day activities of your daily life and functioning as you need to function or want to function to be able to continue those activities. So the first one I want to start with is lifting. So sometimes there is something on the floor that you need to pick up. And the best way to do that is to squat down. Often people of every and any age will do this and bend over. The reason that this is a no-no is because one, it's taking your nose over your center of gravity too far. And so what I've seen happen with some of my active agers is they've fallen. So they're bending over to pick something up and and they fall forward and they get hurt. And I've seen tremendous amounts of bruising on the face, on the shoulders from that fall forward. So if you have to pick something up and lift it up, so this is picking up and then lifting, excuse me. You are going to use these legs. This is why I talk to you so much about squats. Keeping these quadricep muscles strong. It's incredibly important. So when you go down to pick something up, instead of leaning forward and bending at your back, which is what's happening, you can bend at your legs. Pick up whatever you need to lift up and pick it up. So for me, this kettlebell is heavy. So let's assume it's this kettlebell that I need to pick up. I could pick it up like this. I also could really hurt my back if I did that, right? So the best way for me to lift is to squat down, and this has handles, but let's say whatever I'm picking up doesn't. And you pick it up, and there you have it. I'm not hurting my back. I'm using my, your thigh muscles with some large muscles. They have the ability to go down and pick up. So I want you to consider that for lifting. That's a really important, for bending down, lifting up, picking something up, lifting something up, is to use these leg muscles, okay? The next thing I want you to think about, is lifting something overhead. So what does that look like? That's like putting a glass up in the cabinet, pulling something off of a high shelf, a box off of a high shelf. You need to use your shoulder muscles, your core. So if you're holding something, I'll use this as a kettlebell as an example because it's heavy for me. So when I pick this up, if I had to put this on a shelf, if I wasn't bracing any of my muscles, my body would do this. Do you see what's happening to my back here and my pelvis? How everything has shifted forward? We need to draw that back. You squeeze those abs, you use your arm muscles, and you put it on the shelf. Hopefully what you're getting is not this heavy, but let's just say this is much lighter. Let's just say this is a glass. So I'm reaching up, I'm grabbing that glass, and I'm bringing it down. Those shoulder muscles have to be strong, and you need to use your core. Using your core is incredibly important. Another functional movement I want to talk to you about is the hip hinge. I've mentioned this in my videos in the past also. The hip hinge is as if somebody karate chopped you in your hips and you bend over because you've been chopped in the hips. So it's not with a rounded back. See here, my back is not like this. It's with a flat back. So again, you're squeezing your abs and you're hinging. What is this used for, you might ask? Well, how many of you have sinks that are this level when you need to brush your teeth? Nobody. Everybody has to bend over to brush their teeth and spit the water or whatever, rinse your mouth. So, hinge at the hips. So often, I know people brush like this. See my back? This is hard on your back. It's difficult for your back. You're gonna hurt your back. You need to squeeze your abs, karate chop at the hips, bend. Do you see my back is flat? And you brush your teeth this way. So the hip hinge is another functional movement. It's probably, in my opinion, like exercise 101. Know how to hip hinge properly because you will use it throughout your life for so many different things. That hip hinge is incredibly important. Okay, so we know that the squatting to pick something up is important, so you're not bending over. We know when you lift, you squeeze your core so that your back is not doing the work and you're using your arm muscles to do the work. And we know that the hip hinge is really important, another functional movement, so that you can continue with the activities of daily life without injury. These are three of the most common basic things I hear from my active agers. I fell over, I hurt my back. You're hurting your back because you're not activating the correct muscles, and you might need to strengthen some of this core to have a stronger back. But a lot of times when there's muscle weakness in certain parts of the body, the way my back went in when I was lifting, that's not uncommon. So we want to strengthen the core. We want to keep those quadricep muscles and the upper body muscles strong. How do we do that? Resistance training. It's exercise 102. Learn how to hip hinge, learn the proper weights and how to lift weight. There's a greater risk for injury by not lifting weights than by lifting weights incorrectly. I never want you to do things incorrectly. That's why I put a series of form videos in this channel so that you can check proper form. Look in a mirror while you're doing them. But it's a higher risk to do nothing and stay sedentary than to try lifting weights and grow your muscles and risk injury that way. You're less likely to get injured just from lifting if you're lifting the appropriate weight. So those three functional movement patterns, the squat to pick things up, the lifting overhead, the upper body muscles, the core that supports all of it, and of course exercise 101 is that hip hinge. So if you don't know how to do those, comment below. If you need help, go back and look at the functional living videos that I've placed in the channel. It will give you a good education on how to properly start to lift, okay? If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.